So here in Meshi, I conceptualized variations of a rocky cliff surface and then converted the best concept into a 3D mesh. I didn't bother texturing it since I only need the geometry for terrain projection. In Gaia, I set up a minimal graph with a few basic nodes to generate a rough base terrain. Then brought the cliff as an object node to project the shape onto the landscape. Because this projection conforms to the terrain, the height stretches to match the base and won't exactly mirror the original generated mesh. To blend it more realistically, I will fine-tune the object node, adjust rotation for a natural orientation, and tweak scale and offset to precisely place it at the desired location. Alright, so now I am adding an erosion node and connecting it to the object node output. This blur node is going to soften the original projection a bit. I will continue tweaking the parameters until it feels natural. Once I am satisfied with the result, I will use a combine node to merge it with the earlier path that defined the base mountains. Let me add a final erosion node to smooth the overall terrain and give it a clean, polished, eroded look. This also will smooth out any artifact or rough edges that might appear when you import the height map into Unreal. Now in our existing terrain, let me add something a little more customized and interesting. So in Meshi, I generated a dragon skull and I want that form in the landscape. So in Gaia, I added another object node and imported the skull. I continued tweaking the rotation, the offset and the scale until the placement felt right. So next I ran a sharpen node to punch up the distinctive ridges and cavities of the original mesh, followed by blur and denoise to soften artifacts and help the projection sit naturally in the terrain. A light erosion pass then finishes the blend so that the skull reads like it has been weathered in place. I used a combine node to combine the eroded output with the sharpened output. And yes, this looks perfect. This completely resembles the actual mesh and also feels like it is part of the terrain itself. I again used a combine node to merge this graph with the rest of the graph. Remember that this isn't a deep Gaia tutorial, so if you want a full Gaia to Unreal landscape pipeline breakdown, I can do a separate video on that. Once I'm happy with the result, I will use this Unreal node to export this as a height map. So in Unreal, I imported it as a landscape. I have to reduce the Z scale to adjust the height of the landscape. And the result looks great. High fidelity with those custom 3D forms clearly visible in the terrain.